It's Friday the 13th, and I'm afraid I come bearing some bad news. The world economy is speeding towards a cliff edge. Stocks are down, inflation is up, and investors are moody. Nobody is asking it out loud, but everyone is wondering the same thing. Are we heading into a recession? We start with what's happening in the US. Stock markets are bleeding. The bears are having a raging party on Wall Street. The damages? Almost $7 trillion. $7 trillion. Take a look at the data. It shows how US indices have fared in the last 6 months. Nasdaq is down 28%, Dow Jones down 12%, Standard & Poor's is down 16%. Put together, major US stocks have lost $7 trillion, $7 trillion since the start of 2022. When markets fall 20%, you say it has reached bear levels. Right now, it is dangerously close to that. Let's focus on the Nasdaq. In the last 30 trading days, Nasdaq has dropped more than 20%. Has this happened before? It's happened 11 times. 9 of those were linked to recessions. This time, tech is the big loser. Some more data for you. Apple has fallen 16% in the last month. Meta is down 11%. Tesla down 28%. Amazon down 31%. Now, these are the biggest companies on earth. They basically run our lives. Cars, phones, social media, groceries, everything. They handle all of it. And these companies are losing out big time, almost $3 trillion. That's how much tech companies have lost. You can see this trend all over the world. India's Sensex dropped 11% in the last 6 months. Chinese markets are down 12%. Japan's Nikkei has dropped 11%. So the engine rooms are not doing well. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, the inflation. To cut down prices, central banks have gotten involved. Across the world, interest rates are rising. The result is this sluggish economic growth. Reason number two, the lockdown in China. Asian markets are struggling because of this. Exports are down, tourism is down. So China is dragging the Asian economy along with it. And what China is doing to Asia, the US is doing to the world. If the US economy enters recession, the world enters recession. It happened in the 1930s. It happened in 2008. The question is, will it happen in 2022? Technically, America is halfway there. In the first quarter of 2022, their GDP shrank 1.4%. 2 quarters of falling GDP means recession. So this quarter is crucial. If the numbers are bad, we could be in trouble. And a lot depends on the US Federal Reserve. Their number one priority right now is to tame inflation. So the Fed is planning on more interest hikes. And this could mean two things. A, consumer spending falls drastically. In other words, a one-way ticket to recession. Or B, consumers have enough savings to sustain their spending. In that case, we could see a softer landing. Sort of like a delicate balance between inflation and growth. Can the US achieve that? The inflation data from April does not give away very much. It was 8.3%, lower than March, but too high for comfort. So all eyes are on the Federal Reserve. They're planning more interest rate hikes in the future. The question is, how big will those hikes be? The market can deal with 50 basis points, but anything higher than that could be in trouble. So far, the Fed chair has ruled out aggressive hikes. He's promising to stick with 50 basis points. The problem is, some things are beyond his control, like the war in Ukraine or China's lockdown. These are volatile variables that no central bank can factor. Yet they directly affect the economy. Take gas, for instance. In the US, gas prices are hitting record highs. 1 gallon is going at $4.4. Now, to put that in perspective, gasoline last hit $4 in 2008. And when gas prices rise, everything becomes expensive. You can hike interest rates, you can cut down spending, it doesn't matter. Inflation will still remain high. What does all of this mean for India? Broadly speaking, not good news. Having said that, India could emerge as a relative bright spot. According to The Economist, India will be the fastest growing economy this year. The government is projecting 8% GDP growth, so there could be an opportunity here for India, perhaps to attract more investors or build new supply chains. The only party pooper here is inflation. India's retail inflation topped 7.79% in April. That's an 8-year high. At this rate, the Reserve Bank may have to intervene again, maybe keep hiking interest rates. And if that happens, economic growth will suffer. India's finance secretary did talk about this. He admitted that higher interests could slow growth. So this decade continues to challenge our leaders. 2021 challenged their medical strategy. 2022 will challenge their economic strategy. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.